Everyone, the live has just started.
Okay, good morning. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Insan Kamil. As the first thing for I would to make sure what my speak is here in your device. Hello, am I
You are
audible?
audible. Yes,
Okay,
you
okay.
are.
Thank you for the confirmation. Yeah. First thing first, I want to say thank you for all of the speaker who attending our agenda today for the Mrs. Jelorie Flores Gallego and Mrs. Tanyaluck Prasamchong or the Mrs. Party to be attending our agenda today as the speaker of the ALSA Legal Coaching Clinic 2024. And also, I want to say thank you to the ALSA International President 2023-2024, Mizina Zakir, and all of his board to be attending on our agenda today. And yeah, we will start the ALSA Legal Coaching Clinic 2024 in this morning. And if you want to know about more about the ALSA Legal Coaching Clinic, it is work program initiated by the LTD department and actually ALSA Legal Coaching Clinic or the ALCC, it was the new works program in the ALSA International Board to be uphold the ALSA pillars in field the social responsible and academically committed. And I think that it is enough for me to be uh opening the ALCC. And yeah, I would to hearing to the opening remarks from the president ALSA International to Zina Zakir. The time is yours.
Thank you very much, Insan. Good morning to all of y'all, our participants on Zoom and also participants joining on live as well. I would like to warmly welcome our two speakers, our wonderful past presidents of ALSA International. It's really nice to have both Ms. Gallagher and Ms. Party with us today and to reconnect with the alumni and to have your knowledge shared with us and our members. And today's project is very special because I think Insan spoke to me about this and he was very passionate to have this discussion going on. And it's a very crucial topic, I must say, for all law students, because it is important for us not only to know about the law syllabus and the nitty-gritties of the academic activities, but also to know what lies ahead after we finish our law degree. No matter what jurisdiction you're part of, or whether you leave the profession, or whether you have to continue, or what avenues you can explore after your degree. So different jurisdictions have different methods of options that you can take. I think we'll dwell into a lot of discussion today. So it's a crucial topic for any law students that you all can have an overview of what the future ahead is for you. So I would like to hand it over to my moderator again, my director, to take it forward for today's program. Insan.
Okay, thank you, Zina, for our opening remarks. And yeah, directly we just want to be hearing the experience about the professional and about our exam today. First thing first, for the Mrs. Jelorie Flores Gallego to be speakers about the preparing life after campus as the attorney. To Miss Jel, the time is yours.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's so wonderful to be joining you on this wonderful Saturday morning. Allow me to share my screen. So, today, this is going to be more of like a discussion. I would like to hear your thoughts and I would like to know exactly what you consider to be your motivation to becoming a lawyer or why you opted to study law in the first place. So since this is a discussion, I hope you guys join me very quickly on Mentimeter. So the QR code is here, and please let me know, why are you guys in law school? If I were to admit, this meme to the right is something that resonates to most law students. Some would say they're tragically bad at math, or some don't know what they would want to do after graduating. So they thought, oh, let's go to law school. So I would like to know, what are some of your answers and why you guys are in law school? Please use the QR code on the screen so we can see why you guys opted to go to law school. I am going to try to share the Mentimeter results so that you guys can see. Do you guys see what people are saying about why they're in law school? There are no right or wrong answers here. There is just honesty so that we can all learn from each other. Interesting. It's interesting, the prospect it offers. My parents, yes, my father definitely told me it would be nice if I were to become a lawyer. They like to argue, want to be rich, prefer essays than math. Sounds fun. Rich, rich. There are two rich here. I like to argue. Any other responses from the group? I definitely was pushed by my parents, and I had an attitude growing up. I'd always ask why, or I'd always ask my parents, why is that the rule? And so I think that also motivated my father, better put that sass to good work and maybe you can earn something out of it. So yeah, those are some of the responses as to why you are in law school. We'll talk about rich a little later on. Okay? Um, but I will definitely not be I can't say how much you guys will be earning. This will all be dependent on what field or specialization you guys choose to go to. Okay, again on Mentimeter, I just want a quick poll. Do you know what you want to do after graduating from law school? There is another meme here. I got to law school for public interest reasons. I do on-campus recruiting because a little money is nice. Uh, this I can relate to. I'll stay in the law firm only for 2 years. And I stay for 7 years because I secretly love money. So let me know, do you know what you want to do after graduating from law school? Again, no right or wrong answers here, just honesty. Do you guys know what you would like to do after law school? And we're here. All right, let's see the results. Okay, 5 say yes, 2 said no, and hopefully by the end, or maybe some of our participants from the live have not yet answered this, but hopefully for those who are uncertain, they would figure out a path or figure out some interests that they would like to explore. And those who know what they want to do after graduation, perhaps we can also offer a realistic view of what happens after law school, as well as provide you with options that you may want to consider for your future career. All right. So allow me to go to the meat of my presentation. Okay. So allow me to relate to you, basing on my professional journey. I have been a lawyer for almost 7 years now. I graduated in law school in 2017. And I know it depends in various jurisdictions, but in the Philippines, you usually have a bachelor's degree before going to law school. So I was already a business professional before I was in law school. And I took the bar exam directly after graduation, and the year later joined the law firm to be a junior associate. So, what are worthwhile activities for you to engage in law school that may help you in figuring out how to build a good career after graduation? So there are activities that most law schools offer, such as the moot court. This will allow you to test argumentation skills, collaborating with your teammates, public speaking, memorial writing. I would say moot court is a good place to hone writing and speaking skills as well as interpersonal skills. And then some law schools would have internships in their curriculum. So from my experience, I did litigation with the Office of the Legal Aid, where we would be assisting indigent clients, meaning those who were poor and did not have money to pay for legal representation. During one of the summer programs, rather than take a summer course, I decided to be an intern in a private law firm. And there I was exposed to different work possibilities in the law firm. I got to handle corporate cases, labor cases. I got to handle criminal law cases. And so I saw what it would generally look like if I were to join a law firm. And then another summer, what I did was join government and interned at the Office of the Solicitor General, which is the litigation arm representing government and government-owned corporations and instrumentalities. So I saw litigation, on the other hand, from a government perspective. So I did internships, and this made me consider if I wanted to be a litigator in the future. Another important thing that you may want to maximize during your law school years is joining organizations. I joined a sorority back then, but I would say that one of my key experiences involved the law student government in my own school and eventually becoming the international board president of the Asian Law Students Association. Some would say that joining student organizations is mostly a fun endeavor. And I would agree. I did have a lot of fun joining joining these institutions, but you also learn certain things along the way. With the law student government, I figured out whether or not I wanted to join politics. I figured out early on if I wanted to put myself out there and campaign, if I would want to ask for votes from constituents. And I figured out as a student leader, I love the job. I dislike campaigning. And so it would appear that if I were to join government, it would not be as an elective public official, maybe an appointed public official or a career service or civil servant type of employment. But politics was not, at least for now, something that I would like to pursue full time. With the Asian Law Students Association, I learned to broaden my network. I learned to relate to people, and I figured that I am able to transcend differences in culture, differences in etiquette, and I genuinely enjoy meeting and learning about others. And all these experiences that you do in law school allows you some form of self-discovery so that you know what you want to do, what you like to do, and what you are good at. But that said, I succumbed to parental pressure and decided that I would go the traditional way. Right after becoming a member of the bar, I joined a law firm as a junior associate with focus primarily on corporate law and taxation. I had to make good use of my business degree, which I earned prior to law school, and of course, my legal background. So here are some pros and cons about my life as a law firm junior associate. I would still very much advocate joining a law firm for your first or second year because I found that it is a place for exponential growth and learning. You will get mentorship from senior associates and partners, and the wide range of industries that you would be exposed to would allow you to see where your interests lie. For instance, as a law firm junior associate, I had the privilege of having clients in the real estate industry, in the banking industry, in the mining industry. And it gave me a wide arsenal of tools later on. The cons, and I think this is somehow universal across all jurisdictions if you are part of a law firm, but depending on the business culture of the law firm, typically, as an associate, you would have to contend with long hours. Long hours. 12-hour work week, 12-hour work days, 16-hour work days, especially during business season. And because a law firm would cater to a wide array of clients, it is very likely that you will have a heavy workload. And depending if you go wherever, if it's a small or a big law firm, typically the environment is a high pressure environment. So I was doing mostly corporate work, listing with the stock exchange, negotiating with the internal revenue for assessments of my clients. But I understand there is another speaker who will talk about corporate law. And I figured I miss litigation. Remember, I mentioned earlier, I did a lot of internship where litigation was the main thing that I did. I assisted clients before court. I appeared before court under the supervision of another lawyer. I miss litigation. And so I asked for litigation cases. And I realized I still have long hours, long crazy hours. But there was a sense of fulfillment for me in doing litigation work, appearing before the judge, advocating for my client. And so I decided to resign and leave the law firm. I think it was at around midnight, and there were only 3 of us left in the office. And I thought, why am I here? I don't think I went to law school to make the rich richer. And I am not any richer in any case. So what is this all for? Not to say that there is anything wrong with corporate work or taxation work. It really just was not what I was passionate about. So what happened next was I decided to resign and I became a private lawyer. I became my own boss. I put up my own private practice. I became a private lawyer. So becoming a private lawyer meant I had a higher degree of responsibility. I no longer had senior associates checking my work. I no longer had a partner who will sign off my pleadings. But I also got a choice. I chose who my clients were. I chose when I would want full load of cases and when I could take a 3-day vacation with my family, which was unheard of when I was a junior associate. And I realized I get paid in proportion to how much I work. Meaning, if I want to fill my schedule to the brim, I also get paid a lot. Because at least from my end, what I did was I got paid via milestone. Meaning, when I file an initiatory pleading in court, my clients would pay me an acceptance fee, and then they would pay me for the pleading that I filed in court. If I appear in court, that's another fee. That's an appearance fee. So more tired, more money. At least that was what I thought. Now, the problem, though, is there is variable or erratic pay. Meaning, if I had a lot of clients this month, I get paid a lot. If there are no scheduled hearings for this month, it means I am paid little because I only get paid depending on what type of work that I do. And sometimes there might be clients who would ask if they could pay in installments or if they could pay the following week or the following month instead. I also learned that while I no longer have to contend with my boss, I now had to ensure that I manage my clients. I should keep them happy and I should keep them satisfied with the type of legal service that I do. So I had to answer phone calls at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. I answer phone calls during the weekend until I decided I will not answer phone calls on a Sunday. So client management was something that I had to learn along the way. Until what time would I want to answer calls? Until when do I want to keep on working? Because as I've said, if I work a lot, I get paid a lot. And the question here is sustainability. Sustainability of your income, sustainability of your practice, your energy, as well as sustainability of your career. Because you also figure out that unlike when I was in a law firm where I dealt with big corporations, established businesses, now as a private lawyer, I am a lawyer to the citizen, the common Filipino, or the everyday people you meet in your life. And so their means would be very much different from the means afforded by big corporations. And because the variable and erratic pay was an issue for me, in addition to becoming a private lawyer, I decided to take on additional work. I joined the University of the Philippines, which is the school from where I graduated in 2020. And I think it was very fortunate for me because in 2020, we all know it was the pandemic. And so at least in my country, courts were closed. Meaning, had I not joined the university, there would definitely be no filings, there would definitely be no hearings, and I would have starved. So thankfully, I joined the University of the Philippines, and to the left, you will see here matters that I handled. I knew that I wanted to make a difference, and so we launched community legal education seminars, which are webinar format, 1-hour webinars. And we try to make the law as understandable and as applicable to community leaders and city, municipality leaders in their jurisdiction. We networked and hooked up communities with the Department of Health to inform them about quarantine procedures, jurisdiction procedures across cities, vaccination programs. It started with that until we eventually included various topics, including mental health awareness, disaster and risk management. So the obscure laws that you don't really focus on in law school, but are nevertheless important to ensure that there are good policies and good programs in place to the community, but do have legal basis in law. Those are matters that we highlight in community legal education seminars. Violence against women and children, gender-based violence, Safe Spaces Act. So these are among the topics that we spearheaded in these types of seminars. So I wasn't actually set to advocate for legal education. I just really joined the University of the Philippines because they were looking for an associate. They told me it was on a part-time basis and I can still do my private practice. But surprise, I am still here 4 years later. I have expanded my legal education work to include training paralegals so that they could provide good legal services to their lawyers and to the community. I am currently director of the Bar Review Institute. Considering that in the Philippines, the passing rate for the bar exam is quite low at 25%. And last year, our institute was able to have a passing rate of at least 53%. So with all of that, I think what's most important when you prepare for your professional life is to have a vision of what you want to do. If not a vision, at least values that you would espouse. While I do not regret being in corporate law, I think I could have a more robust career had I known early on that I value community and I value a direct approach to the people in the type of legal services that I would provide. And in connection with your vision, I go back to the question that I asked you earlier. Why? Why law? So these are some of the questions that I think it would be nice for you to ask. When I was figuring out whether or not I should quit my job, technically, I have this rule of thirds. I said I was joining the law firm for growth and learning, for the prestige, or for the money. And my rule here was I should at least hit 2 out of 3 of my goals. Now, these 3 characteristics may be different for everyone. But from my end, I wasn't sure about the prestige portion. I felt that the money that I was earning was not commensurate to the long hours that I pulled in. And in fact, the only thing going on for my law firm work, at least at that time, was the fact that I was growing and learning. And so I felt it was not worth it. I think from what I would advise is to figure out why. Why are you entering this job? And have a set of characteristics that drive you so that when circumstances change, then maybe that's your trigger point to pull out of that job. And so to answer a question almost asked of me by my staff, my research assistants, how do you find your job? I think there are a couple of questions that you should answer about how do you find your job. Ask yourself, what am I good at? I'm good at arguing. So I think I do well as a litigator. What do I enjoy doing? I enjoy winning. And so I enjoy going to court because it's an opportunity to win. What do clients need? My clients, the common Filipino, they need an advocate. And what is important to me? It is important to me that my law education is for the benefit of my countrymen and my community. And I think that's why I am a lawyer, I am an advocate. And maybe with these points, what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? What do clients need? And what is important to me? You are able to also figure out how to find your job. So allow me to just give you a couple of places where you can look for opportunities. I have listed down here at least 3 things. Most lawyers would say, I'd like to join a law firm or I'd like to join government. If you go to the private sector, it's clear. Big law, the top biggest law firms in your country, you could opt for a smaller or medium-sized law firm, or you could do solo practice like what I did, a private lawyer, just me. And then there's also the option for working for the government. You could be a civil servant, you could be a foreign service officer and work for your foreign affairs. You could be a legal division, part of the legal division of your city or municipality, be part of the department or ministries in your country, push for legislative action or policy. You could join politics and become an elective public official. But I'd also like to highlight to you that you guys could go to NGOs and public interest groups. The NGOs that push for advocacies like environment or a gender, whatever it is that interests you, they also need good lawyers there. Another option would be to join international organizations. You may want to work for like your World Bank or your IMF or your Red Cross. All up to you. That's also an option which I think is not highlighted as much in law school. And of course, there is always academe or education. We need young people to help shape our academe and education landscape, to move it forward from the big, stuffy, conservative ways of thinking. We have learned that, but we also need young people to push the boundaries and invest in education and research. Maybe that's something that you enjoy doing and would like to do. So what makes a great lawyer? And I promise I will try my very best to wrap up so I don't take too much of your time. I think it's basic. Basic. What makes a good lawyer is your behavior, your attitude, your skills, your integrity, and ultimately what you choose to do. Your behavior, of course, is the outward manifestation. How do you deal with court personnel? How do you deal with staff? How do you network or connect and relate to others? This is where actually you also get clients through referrals if you have good behavior. This is how processes are made easy for you. How court staff would update you. Oh, the hearing is canceled, even if you haven't received notice yet, because your outward manifestation is something that they are able to connect to and embrace. Next, attitude. Who are you? How do you react? When faced with a problem, do you say, I can't do it? Or do you say, I'm able to learn? So I think a good attitude really makes for a great lawyer. And I don't think this is emphasized enough, that the soft skills are as important as the hard skills in law school, which brings me to skills. Interpersonal skills is important. And I think here at ALSA, you guys have that. When you meet at AC, when you meet at AF, you get to work on building relations and long-term connections with other people. And this comes in handy because lawyering is actually also relational work. Not only is it client management, but you would tend to negotiate better if you have good interpersonal skills, and things would come in easier to you if you do good relations with government. Of course, and this is taught in law school, you have to have good problem-solving skills. Spot the issue. Forecast possible problems, possible contentions, disagreements, so you can prepare. Preparation is half the battle. And so you can have a good strategy. And I would always say, especially if you work in a law firm, leadership and teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. All you need to do really is to communicate with your team and be accountable for your part of the work. In relation to skills, I would say listening is very important. When you listen to a client or a potential client, not only do you listen to what is said, you also figure out what is he or she trying to omit, what is not said by this person. And then you get to pinpoint, target, direct. And so you are able to lead the conversation, know what are the right questions to ask, weed out the essential from the non-essential. You know, sometimes clients are somehow, it's like paid therapy. They tell us all of their problems so that we get to fix their problems for them. So don't get caught up in the drama. Get the facts. What's the proof when you say that this is what happened? Why do you say that? Did you see it or was it relayed to you? So this, if you weed out the essential from the non-essential, you are able to pinpoint appropriate, relevant laws that would make a winning case. And so after you weed out information, you choose relevant laws, you now choose your strategy and plan of attack. And sometimes being a great lawyer does not necessarily mean going to court. It could be collaboration with your client or with the opposing party to find a win-win solution to ensure that justice is served, to ensure that we do not promote conflict between parties. So I would say, yes, I do love to argue. And yes, I do love to win. But we have to remember, it's also finding a winning solution for your client. It's advocating for them. And sometimes winning means collaborating. Another is integrity. Choose to be ethical. I think rather, in addition to being responsible and accountable to your client, to your stakeholders, to your case, I would say be a lawyer who will not sell out, who will choose to be ethical, who will choose to do what is right. Because contrary to popular belief, we have a choice. We have a choice who to represent, a choice how we will represent them. And so not all lawyers are dirty. And if you are a dirty lawyer, really, it's a matter of you chose to be a dirty lawyer. If you're unhappy with your place of work because you have to do underhanded top strategies, do under the table deals, then maybe it would be best to extract yourself out of that scenario. You can choose to be a lawyer with integrity. And I think at the end of the day, this is it. A great lawyer chooses every day to advocate. Advocate for his client, advocate for justice, advocate for what is right, advocate for himself even, that this is what I am willing to do and this is what I want to do to be a good lawyer. So I think it's a matter of choice, and you can only choose if you know your why. Every day, I strive to live by my school's motto, honor and excellence. And recently, this has been added to become honor and excellence for the service of the people. And this is my funnel. This is how I try to view things. Is what am I doing honorable as a lawyer? Am I doing my best to provide excellent legal services to my client or excellent policies for my stakeholders? This is the lens in which I view it. And this is my creed of integrity, and this is my choice in the types of jobs that I undertake. I always go back. If you can see, this is a big wall at the back of my law school. The business of a law school is not sufficiently described when you merely say that it is to teach law or to make lawyers. It is to teach law in the grand manner and to make great lawyers. And so, to summarize, work on all the knowledge stuff in your law school, but don't forget to also work on your why, and the basic skills: behavior, attitude, skills, integrity, and the exercise of your right to choose. That makes a great lawyer. So again, I'm Attorney Jel Gallego. If you guys have questions or if you would like to connect, this is my email down here. I would love to hear from you. And I'm pretty sure later on we will have time for questions. Thank you very much for your time. ALSA, always be one.
Okay, also always be one. Thank you, Miss Jelorie, for the material. So interesting. And yeah, if you see the past, we have the president at the 2014, and I think that it is yeah, more than 5 years. If you have the professional experience also. And yeah, thank you for your experience and materials, Miss Jelorie. And we next to be before the next speaker and for all of the participants, we will be collect the question and answer in the different session. And we next to be the next speakers with them preparing life after campus as the legal associate to be delivered by Miss Tanyaluck Prasamsong or Miss Party. To Miss Party, the time is yours.
All right, thank you, Insan. Hi, my name is Party or Tanyaluck. I was the president of ALSA back in 2021, 2022, and I have been working at a law firm focusing on the banking and finance practice for a year now. And prior to that, I have had a part-time internship during my 4th year at law school. So overall, I can say that I've been working at a law firm for 1.5 years. So I would share my screen. All right, disclaimer. The slides is not going to be as beautifully made as gel, but I can guarantee that the content is going to be great. So, how to know if being a corporate lawyer is the right thing for you. As you saw in the last session, Jill talks about being an attorney and also like her glimpse of working at a law firm as a corporate lawyer as well. So I want to delve into a day in a life of a corporate lawyer, what you actually do. So the task that you do can be categorized into 2 main things. The first one is the advisory work, and the second one is the transactional work. Advisory work is when you give clients any kind of advice in relation to your practice. The clients are going to ask several questions, and sometimes you may have to do a big research on it before coming up with your answers. And you can provide the answers to the clients in the form of, for instance, a legal memorandum, or it can merely be a meeting with the clients and you talk with the clients. Now, the second thing would be the transactional work, which you may be familiar about. For example, the M&A deals, the financing deals, for example, the loan agreements, collaterals, drafting lots of agreements, for instance. So this is another type of work. And advisory work and transactional work are very different in nature. And I will delve deeper into that later on. Other than the work, we also have to do a lot of self-study, and we have to enter a lot of trainings, whether you are a junior associate, a mid-level, a senior associate, or even partners. They also have to attend trainings. And during the trainings, the people in the team will update, regulatory updates internally, and also to provide like external updates to the clients as well. And since in certain practices, for example, in the banking and finance or the energy, mining, infrastructure practices, you may study a little bit of it in law school, but when you put it into practice, you would find that there are a majority of the landscape of those legal areas that you didn't get to expose yourself to during law school. So you will have to, take a lot of your time in the self-study and in the trainings outside of work as well. For example, during Saturdays and Sundays, you'll also have to learn about what derivatives is, So you always have to be active and keep yourself updated in order to thrive at a law firm. And the next thing that I would like to talk about, the working hours. As Jill said, the hours is long, but it depends on a day-to-day. So advisory work, the hours is manageable because the clients will give you the questions and they'll say, okay, can you revert with the answer within 3 days? So you have 3 days to do the research. You can manage your time during those 3 days. But when it comes to transactional work, it's very dependent on the client's requests. For example, they want to close the deal this week. So you have to stay up all night, to finish with the documents. So it's less manageable in the terms of the hours. Now, what is the difference of the work of the junior associate, the mid and the senior associate, and the partners? I think one contrasting thing would be the client management. If you are the partner, most of the days you talk to the clients, you manage the clients, you seek new clients, and you also manage the overall picture of the people in the team and also the firm. When it comes to the mid and the senior associate, you're like the intermediary between the partner and the junior associate. So there's a lot of work when you become a mid-level and the senior level, because you also have to manage the clients. You also have to check the work of the junior associates. You have your own work. So there's a lot of work. Being a junior associate, I would say you just do the work. You just put your head down and do the work. You talk. You need to learn a lot while you're being a junior associate. When you are assigned with a task, it does not matter how long you take to complete the task, so long as you're able to deliver the work on time, because the expectation is low for you, right? But you still need to deliver the work. However, when you become a partner, when you become a mid-level, a senior level, not only do you have to deliver the work with good quality, but you're also expected to be able to do the work in less time. So I would recommend that when you're being a junior associate, you take all the time you need to study the deals, the materials, and come up with a high quality work, rather than taking on too many projects and then not being able to manage your time and the workload, and then not being able to deliver a good quality work. So in order to figure out whether you want to be a corporate lawyer or not, the only question I would ask you would be, do you love dispute resolution? And then you may come up with 3 types of answers. It's a hell yes, it's a hell no, or I don't know, I'm not quite sure yet. So if you have listened to Jill and you have figured out that hell yes, I want to do dispute resolution, or you have done some moot court competitions and you think, oh, this is it for me, it's a hell yes, then you go do dispute resolution, right? But if it's a hell no, if it's an I don't know, I'm not quite sure. For instance, in my case, I did a lot of moot court competitions. I did Jessup for 2 years. I did IHL, internal moot. So, and after I did a lot of moot court competitions, I've realized that the reason why I love mooting so much was because I love working with a dynamic and active people in order to achieve certain things together. Maybe it's winning in the competition, but I would not want to put myself in a contentious environment all the time. So for me, I have decided to be a corporate lawyer. So you want to be a corporate lawyer now. What should you do? So firstly, you may start by choosing a practice area that you want to do. And this can be figured out in law school. For example, what is your favorite subject? It's easy to answer. I saw a lot of my seniors who are working in banking and finance. I asked them why they want to work in banking. And they are like, oh, I studied collaterals at school and I enjoyed it so much. And so I want to do a loan financing, which is why I joined the banking and finance practice, for instance. Another one is the internship. You don't have to figure it all out at a law school of what kind of law you want to practice in. You just go do the internship first, try to get an exposure to all kinds of law, because, you know, the subject that is taught at school is merely like a tiny bit and it's not the actual work that you're going to do after law school. So internship would be like a cutting rope, you know, of whether you want to do this or not. Next is the colleague and the mentor. For some people, they do not mind what kind of practice area they want to do, but they value the culture and the people that they are going to be working with. If the people are good, they're understanding, they're great mentors, they know how to teach you, then they just decided to join that practice area, join that team because of the people mainly. And how would you know whether this team, like these people would be right for you? I would suggest like talking to a lot of the seniors, talking to a lot of people, or like during the internships, don't just stay at one practice area. Try to ask for the assignments from different teams and try to talk to like different people within the firm. Next would be the learning curve, the career market, and the trajectory. In my case, I chose, for instance, I chose the banking and finance practice because at the time, cryptocurrency was such a boom. And then there was NFT, you know, and so I thought it was an interesting career path that I want to go into. And also the banking and finance is like, if you work in a law firm for 5 to 7 years, you can shift to in-house, corporate, you know, there are a vast majority of opportunities that you can seek afterwards. Next, should I worry about the rank of the firm? For this, I would say you should not worry about the rank of the firm when you started out. But if you would like to, you know, further your degrees, going to undergraduate, to the graduate studies, like taking LLM in the US, in the UK, especially in the US, they value professional experiences. And so letters of recommendation is an important thing. So I think if you join for example, a tier 1 firm, a high-ranked firm, it'll be more opportunity for you to connect with people who graduate, you know, from top universities, and you can ask for letters of recommendations from them. And it'll also give you an exposure to like big deals, great projects, governmental projects, you know, to supplement your application. However, if you do not plan to do your graduate studies in like 3 or 5 years, you know, you can go for the firms that you actually want to practice in. And you can, there is an option like lateral hires, you can start from a small firm first in order to take on as many assignments and as many practices that you want to try, because when you're in a small firm, you get to do a lot of deals, capital markets, M&A, banking and finance. You get to do all of it because it's a small firm, right? And then after you have figured out what you want to do, then you can shift to the big firm in the practice area that you want to grow your expertise in. How to secure the interview. After you have figured out, okay, this is the practice area that I want to do, this is the firm that I want to go into, how? I think the most important thing would be the referral. Always go for the referral. If you know the people in the firm due to the internship, you just message them on LinkedIn, via email, that, oh, you're interested in this position, could you refer me? Or even when you do not have any connection with the people at the firm, you can call the HR. Like, for example, on LinkedIn, there's going to be like description of the HR, their contact details, and then there's an easy apply button. I would always recommend you to go for, directly contacting the HR instead of clicking for the easy apply, because your application would be processed a lot faster. If you talk to the people, you just, they'll process your application a lot faster. And lastly, the next thing would be converting from being an intern to a full-time associate. For this, this is another way that you can get a job as a full-time associate, but it's also a low chance, and it's not offered in all the firms. So you will have to check with your seniors whether this option is available. And the last one is that you just have to apply to the HR directly. If you don't have the referrals, if you have never interned in such firms, you can just apply to the HR, and you don't have to worry that you'll get less chance in getting into the firm, because the selection process is pretty much the same. It's just that your application may take longer to be processed. And then you got the job. And what do you do next? So as I said, there are two main types of work as a corporate associate. So there's advisory and there's transactional. For the advisory work, the hours are more manageable. The clients will be like, oh, I wonder whether I should product my market in Thailand or not. They'll ask you questions, and then you have to do research and then come up with the answers. So there's lots of research, especially regulatory research. Sometimes the regulations are not clear. So you have to consult with the regulators almost every single day. I call the regulators and ask them, what do you mean by this regulation, right? And because you have to do a lot of research, it requires a lot of brain power. So even though you get to sit like for 12 hours doing the research, I would recommend you like taking breaks from time to time. Law firm has a very long hours, but it doesn't mean you cannot take breaks. And the next tip would be to ask the right questions and to discuss with the seniors before drafting the answers or coming up with the answers. And also to constantly stay updated with the regulations. It can be through trainings, it can be through your self-study session. And if you find any kind of updates with the regulations, you should notify the team as well, because that way you become more proactive with the team. For the transactional work, the hours majorly depends on the client's request. For example, they want to IPO next week, they want to close the deal this week, you have to sacrifice your sleep sometimes in order to close the deals. There is this one time where the client used to tell me and my team that they need to close the deal this week because they went to a tarot reader or something, and the tarot reader was like, you should close the business deal this week. And so we're like, okay, we need to accommodate. Yeah, so it's very dependent on the client and the client's requests. So you need a lot of coffee. And for this, you may not have to, do that substantive amount of research. So it doesn't require that much amount of brain power compared to the advisory work. But what you need would be firstly the attention to detail, because you need to check a lot of documents. And secondly, the business acumen. You need to understand the client's business. What do they do, so that when you draft the agreement, it will not lead to, future disputes that will further damage the clients. And the third thing is that you will have to coordinate with a lot of people, with the clients, with the people in the team. So for this one, you need to have a lot of, social skills, be proactive, and also follow up with a lot of people and keep the team updated. It's going to be different from the advisory work. For the advisory work, I just sit in front of my laptop all day doing research, writing memos. I don't have to talk to people. But during transactional deals, there's a lot of human dealing. Last but not least, please ask yourself, do I really want to be a lawyer? I've seen a lot of people who want to work at a law firm because their friends want to, because the people think it's a prestigious job, or because they watch Suits on Netflix, so they want to work at a law firm. Please don't do that. At least do the internship first and then figure out later whether this is the thing that you really want to do. After you graduate, you can take a gap month, a gap year. My friend who is working at my firm right now, he went to work and travel in the United States for a year, and then he came back. He still got the job, which means there is no rush in the application. If you want to work at a firm, there's no rush at all. You can go figure out yourself first. So my story, I used to be an intern and also a part-time at a firm that I'm currently working in right now. But during the very last semester of my fourth year, I have decided to terminate the part-time internship contract. Why? Because after the summer internship and the part-time internship, I've realized that this may not be the thing that I want to do, So I want to use the very final semester of my undergraduate degree to explore something else that is completely not law related. And I put myself into a business case competition and into business consulting. And later on, I figured out whether I want to do business or whether I want to pursue a career in law. And because of that, I have decided to, crystallize my thoughts and now become a legal associate and be motivated in doing the things that I do. So I would suggest you, if you're not sure about wanting to be a lawyer, you can take a gap month, a gap year, explore something that is completely non-law related. So yeah, that is it for my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Party, to be delivered the spectacular experience and spectacular material also. And yeah, like I told you before, if we started the question and answer sessions. And guys, we have collected the questions on the registration form, but we must to be first hearing. If you have the question, you can raise hand or the chat in chat box first. You can give your question. Okay, we have the questions. And yeah, for the Savik Iskandar, who question is delivered to? Who? Yeah, for who? The question you given for Miss Gel or Miss Party? Okay, maybe okay. Okay, maybe the Miss Gel and Miss Party, you can answer the questions from the different point of view. And from yeah, for the Miss Gel, you can go first to answer the question.
Some of the challenges that graduates commonly face when transitioning from academic life to professional life. The first thing would probably be the hours. I really think it's the long hours. And the fact that apparently you only learned a little bit in law school and you now have to answer a whole lot of other questions. Um the long hours, I think law school prepared us for that. We studied a lot in school. And so when transitioning to professional life, I would always think that it's a lifelong learning kind of a thing. And if ever I learned a little bit from law school, I am confident that I learned good research skills. I learned a good mindset, organizational techniques that could come in handy when I have to absorb a lot of information and figure out which ones are related to the case that I have to study. So I think really it's trusting that you have the basic foundational skills from school that you can apply and use as a jump off point in your professional life. The next question is, as a private lawyer, how do you differentiate yourself and ensure that clients choose your services? Okay. To be honest, I wasn't really worried about differentiating myself. I think as a private lawyer, I entered it at a time also that I had a very strong sense of worth and sense of self. So I knew that not all clients are for me. I wanted to have clients who could pay me. So those who were not able to pay my fees or who could not be amenable to an acceptable installment plan with me, those are not my clients. It's okay that they choose another lawyer over me. Another thing is I knew that I graduated from one of the top law schools in the country. So I knew that I could charge as much. And knowing that I came from one of the top law schools, I knew that I had all the makings of a skilled private lawyer. What I lack in experience, I could make up with more time, more dedication to research. And so by knowing my worth and knowing the skills that I possess, I simply had the courage to say, this is me. These are the things that I am offering. These are the services that I'm offering. This is my price. If it's too steep, we can come up with a plan, an installment plan. You could pay me every 15 months or every 10 days. That's acceptable to me. And if we do not meet, um, it's really negotiating for myself. So if we do not meet with respect to price and type of services, then that's not my client. And I'm okay with that. There are a lot of people who need legal services, and I would not do everything and anything, bending forwards and backwards just to land one client. And then from there, your good work ethic and your reputation will eventually carry and bring more clients to you. So you just really have to trust the process and your skill. Next, did I ever consider becoming a prosecutor? Yes, I did. I considered joining the prosecution office as well as the public attorney's office. This is actually a common path to start off as a public attorney or a prosecutor and then wait for around 10 to 15 years to be appointed as judge. I did consider that. But I realized, well, at least in my country, there are certain challenges also with becoming a judge. One, it's a political process. Second, there are a lot of contentious cases in our country. There was an intense drug war in the past 6 to 7 years, and a lot of judges who handle drug cases sometimes get death threats. And I knew that's not the type of life that I would like to lead. So even in choosing my cases, I explicitly resolved with myself, I will not handle murder cases and I will not handle drug cases because I value my safety and my family's safety. So I didn't pursue becoming a prosecutor, but I would definitely recommend it to you. Becoming a prosecutor and a public attorney for your government would open you to a lot of different types of cases in litigation. It will also give you a strength of character and backbone that might not be available in other types of practices. And the turnaround is very quick. So you learn very quickly because there are a lot of cases. And I think it's a good pathway for promotion to become a judge or to become a high-ranking official in government.
Okay, is enough, Miss Jel? Okay, I prefer you guys to give and deliver your questions within open your camera and open your mic. But yeah, the next questions the next answer you can Miss Party, you can respond the question from the Savik also.
All right. So the 3 questions from Shafiq, right? So the first one, what are the challenges that new graduates face when they transition to the professional life? I think 2 main things. Firstly is the work, and the second is the mental, so the pressure that they are going to face. For the work, sometimes you have no idea of what you have to do, of what kind of work product you have to deliver to the client or to the people in the team. I think communication with the people in the team matters a lot. Make it clear, ask the questions, even the dumb questions, just ask them. And secondly, self-study. Self-study matters a lot. For instance, if you're an M&A lawyer, there are a lot of podcasts and books out there that you can, read in order to be equipped with a business acumen. If you're a banking and finance lawyer, there is like websites, for example, the ISDA, to learn about derivatives, the laws, So there are a lot of resources out there that you can resort to in order. Just asking the questions is the fastest way to learn and hone the skills. And the second point, the pressure that you're going to have, I think for this one, you just have to make up your mind that you're going to make mistakes anyway, because you're a junior associate. You're definitely going to make mistakes. And once you do, you just have to let it go. Don't have to be too much of a perfectionist about every single work that you're assigned. So I think that's one of the mentality that helped me get through being a legal associate. The second question is that, I think the second question is targeted to Jel actually, because working in a big law, when you try to find the clients, it's mainly the partner and not the junior associates. However, I will answer this question from the perspectives of a junior ASO in the big law, where you have to, get the work from the people in the firm. So especially in big law, sometimes it can be competitive internally in getting the work. But I resonate with what Jel has answered. Like, if you are confident in your skills and your work ethics, then you do not have to worry whether, whether the client or the seniors at the firm will assign you with great projects or not. And the last question I have, but the reason why I decided not to become a prosecutor because of the money. Money is important, you guys. So yeah, but I think this question depends on what you actually want out of the work. What do you actually want to do? What kind of life do you want to live? If you say, oh, I prioritize money, I prioritize prestige, I prioritize the work-life balance, just ask yourself these kinds of questions. And then I think you'll figure out whether you should become a prosecutor or not.
Okay, thank you for the response, Miss Party. And yeah, I will be make a little interactive in our discussion. Maybe our beloved president, ALSA, for the Zinat, you can go first.
Thank you, Insan. I have one question for both of you all. I think this will be useful for all the participants as well. How did your perception change when you were a law student? And then how did it change when you became a practicing lawyer or an attorney in terms of the work environment and the reality of the field in itself? Because as a law student, our perception is different. And then when you go into the working environment, it completely change. So can you give us a snippet as to how your perception and experience altered when you started working? Maybe if you can start with Ms. Jel.
Maybe Parthy would want to answer first because I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I graduated.
Yeah, sure. Can you repeat the question? Sorry, my connection was off a little bit.
So if you can tell us how your perception changed when you actually enter the workforce, because when you're law students, we perceive the legal field as in a particular manner. But then when you start working, this changes because we are in the real work environment, the real issues come forward. And how did your perception change?
How my perception changes. I think I've never had those kinds of perception at all. When I started joining, whether as an intern, like in a law firm, or as a full-time associate. So there's not much of a change in my perception in the legal career path, because there's no expectations from the very start. I am just there to learn, because the mindset that I had at the time was that I didn't know whether I actually want to do this or not. Even when I applied for the internship, I was like, I'm not sure whether I should do the law firm or not, but I'm just going to apply and see what it's like. So since there's no expectation, there's not much of a change in my perception towards the work itself. Yeah.
That's an interesting mindset to have, actually.
I think
Jel?
From my end, it's been 7 years. Um, I think I realized that lawyering is it's not always a glamorous job. It's not always suits with the pencil skirts and the high heels. Um, Depends really what you do. Perhaps if you're in business law or in corporate, it could look like that. But if you're a litigator, sometimes it's not. Um, I realized that more conflict means more work, which means more money. I for some I used to I like to win and I like to argue, but I was mostly non-confrontational in my everyday life. So when I learned that conflict is what brings money and what brings work to lawyers, I was kind of mind blown. Oh yes, if they don't agree, then that means I have a job. So that's a different I found a different appreciation for conflict, I would say. And I think for 7 years and doing three job transitions, I learned that it's okay to start over. It's okay to figure out and try a lot of things to know what you're good at and what you would like to do. Don't be afraid to try because it could be not a forever job. It's just something you're trying to figure out right now. So I think I became more open-minded that there are a lot of career paths that a lawyer could go and do, and they're all worthy careers.
Could you elaborate on the other career paths you mentioned, just so that our participants can benefit from it?
One is government. I know of ALSA alumni who became part of their consulate and their international relations after doing their law degree. And that's not a law firm type of a work. Others became advocates for NGO, Humanity International, things like that. So it's not your traditional law firm work. Others went on to do their master's degree and then proceed to a PhD and then become academics. And that's also practice of law. So it's okay to figure out what you actually want to do. And it's not necessary that just because it's not well paying in your country, it's not well paying everywhere. For instance, academics in my country, they're paid very, very poorly. But do you know that in Europe, for instance, they have a PhD program that is a paying PhD program, meaning you get paid to study. So maybe it's a matter of figuring out what you want to do and then figuring out where you can do that successfully.
And I have a question from Ms. Patti as well. So you spoke of law firms and the work environment. Can you tell the participants as to how we can manage the work politics that comes within a law firm? Because we have all lawyers, brilliant minds, having a lot of work. So how do we work as a team? And also how do we benefit for ourselves in the same time?
All right. I think being with great and bright people, you'll have to firstly manage the expectations of yourselves and also of themselves. What I mean by this is that you have to communicate your workload and also the quality of your work to the other people in the team. If you're not, for example, there's so limited time, lots of assignments, lots of projects, and you think that, okay, due to the time constraint, this is this much of the quality of the work that I'm able to deliver. Or if you think I cannot deliver by the deadline, I need it to be extended, then you have to communicate to the people in the team at the very beginning. So I think it's the kind of skills that you have to, the more assignments that you take on, the more that you will be able to, predict of how long one assignment will take. So yeah, that's one thing. Another thing is that, as I have already mentioned, the competitiveness of associates in the big law and how to deal with that. I think you don't have to worry about being competitive at work at all. I think being collaborative and have the mindset of, working as a team will not only make the deals or the projects that you're working on successful, happily successful, but it'll also make you stand out more because you work in a collaborative manner. Absolutely. Rather than, in a eroding others. Yeah.
I think we don't have any more questions on our chat, but let's conclude with just one question to both past presidents of ALSA International. Can you tell us how ALSA International has given you the soft skills or the experience to take on the real world problems or real world work pressure or anything that's entailed in the real world work environment? How did ALSA International prepare you? As I think you all have been part of ALSA International even before becoming the ALSA International president. So with your years of experience, can you tell us how it has contributed to your personal growth and to becoming who you are today?
Okay, maybe I can take this question first.
Yes.
So I think three main things that I got from ALSA International. Firstly is the ability to work with people from different backgrounds. Secondly is the hard skills that I get. And thirdly would be the ability to manage and handle people. So on to the first point, being able to work with people from different backgrounds. So in ALSA International, we got to work with people from all across Asia, with the partners in Europe, in America, So being able to understand the underlying interests or the common grounds that you have with people from different backgrounds is a huge advantage in working at a law firm, because you'll be able to connect with the people there more. So you're not just building a professional relationship with your colleagues or with the clients, but you're building personal relationships on the things that you relate to and building an understanding community at the firm as well. So many people would think that working in a law firm is like tough because of the long working hours, which is true. But if you're able to, build a personal relationships with the people at the firm, it'll make working at the firm more tolerable. For instance, like there was, I used to have, look, my dad was in a hospital and I was worried about his well-being. And so I asked the people in the firm, like, do you have any like private hospitals or like the doctors recommended, like my dad is like this, and they were very eager to help. So, you can share some of the little things in life, some of the personal sides to the people in the firm as well. It doesn't have to, always be super professional, but again, it depends on your preference. If you want to keep it professional, you can, right? The second thing is the hard skills that I gained from ALSA International. ALSA International, I would say it's like a company. It prepares me of working in a corporate world, from writing emails, writing the terms of reference, how to reach out to the partners, all those things can be converted into the skills that I use today as a legal associate. And the last one would be the skills of how to handle and to manage people. I was the director of foreign affairs, and then later on I became the president. So I got to talk to a lot of partners, going into lots of negotiations on the MOU. And that transcends to the skills that I use when I, handle the clients, answering the questions, and also managing, like dealing with the people internally at the firm as well, and also dealing with myself, like my expectations that I have towards the work, like not to be too much of a perfectionism. Those are also like the skills that I've honed from working in ALSA International.
That's wonderful. I mean, I have to agree, you have a lot of hard skills that ALSA International gives you in terms of managing and, emails, and it's a wonderful experience, I would say. It's tough, but it's a wonderful experience. Ms.
I
Jill, yes.
I agree with Pardy about what she mentioned. I really think the interpersonal skills, the relational skills that you gain from ALSA is top notch. And it's not just about making connections, but it's about keeping and maintaining those connections. I mean, I can't believe I'm here after 10 years from my term. And I think it really helps with client management, as well as with management of your teammates, even managing your bosses to set expectations, to rally to get together people towards a common goal. And I think as ALSA International board president, I also got a taste and honed my diplomatic skills from all the GCMs, I would say. You know how we all have different
Yes.
perspectives and different opinions, and to be able to come together and find a solution and something that we can have a consensus. The diplomatic skills really that I learned from ALSA allows me to present myself to clients, to partners, and to my associates in a manner that is very relatable, very approachable. We're not, I think everyone in ALSA, we can say that from doing this organization, we learned so much how to present our ideas in a very direct, clear, but respectful manner. And I also learned, I guess I'd also say that I learned from ALSA that it could always, it's not all work and no play. And that there are a lot of agreements that are closed in the evening after drinks. And so socialization is important. And sometimes half of the battle is won, not in the meeting itself, but in having one-to-one discussions with other people. So I I learned to broaden my perspective of how to go about the work. Um I also appreciated definitely that we got to work with a lot of people. We got to work with each other from different nations, and as well as with our partners from Europe, Australia, the Dominican Republic, and all of these connections allow us to understand um, that we are more alike than we are different. So we get to relate more. So definitely, I would say that the ALSA International experience is one for the books. Not only did it give us a lot of fun, but it also gave us a lot of skills, whether or not we were aware that we were actually honing skills that would prepare us for the real world.
Thank you, Ms. Jill. I hope this would encourage our participants here to apply to the international board. So yes, you're most welcome to reach out to us for transfer of knowledge. You'll gain a lot. So yeah, join the international board. Insan, over to you.
Okay, I feel our situation is like nostalgic between the between our beloved president of the ALSA also. And yeah, maybe we don't have the question more in our chat box, and maybe it a last question for from me to our speakers. Yeah. Before you in the past, before you have the position as the lawyer like now, what your dream job in the past? Yeah, as you in as your uh a student, what your dream jobs also. And yeah, actually my dad also as the lawyer in Indonesia, and he had the difficulties case, I think that. And yeah, when you, as the professional lawyer, when you face the within situation where your client has the risky problem, how do you resolve the issues as the professional? Maybe you can go first, Miss Jel.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're asking me how to handle if clients would have risky types of issues or problems.
Yes,
Correct?
yes, yes, yes.
All
Yes.
right. Um, I think I learned early on that as a lawyer, my duty is to flag possible risks and provide them with an option of legal solutions. Whether or not they take my advice is an entirely different thing. So if I flag certain risks and I tell them that this is legal or what you're doing is not legal, this is the proper and legal way to do it. If they take it, great. If they don't take it, that's not my problem and I think I've done my job. Your goal really is to advocate for your client and to advocate for justice. So if they are doing risky things, I will maintain lawyer-client confidentiality. But I think one thing that I've learned really on, even as a first-year lawyer, is make sure your advice is in writing. Especially if things are contentious or risky, make sure that it is in writing that you flagged the risk, you flagged and provided legal solutions. So if things blow up, you can always tell the client or the partners or other agencies, I have done my job, I have flagged the risk, I have provided legal solutions to correct or mitigate the risk. Everything else is a personal decision or a business decision of which I do not have control over.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jel, to the answer. Maybe you have the different perspective, Miss Party.
No, I share the similar perspective. I think she covers all the point. Yeah, always have a disclaimer, like put on a disclaimer whenever you give the advice to the clients.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the answer my question. And we have the finish our agenda. Maybe Miss Party, you can go first, given the closing statement in our agenda right now.
Firstly, thank you, Zenith and also Insan for having me at the ALSA Legal Coaching Clinic. It's been a while since I've been reconnected to ALSA, actually over a year, but it's great to see that our community has grown a lot, especially from during the COVID-19 pandemic. And now knowing that we are going to be holding physical events for like one of the first physical events in ALSA, like ALSA Forum. And so it's a great thing to hear. And also for this ALSA Legal Coaching Clinic, I hope that all of the participants will gain the insights of how to transition from being an academic to a professional life. And I hope that you will be able to, equip yourselves with both the hard and the soft skills in becoming great practicing lawyers in the future. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, to Jel, to me. Yeah, please feel free to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Party, for the closing statement. Later, Miss Jel, you can give closing statement also.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a decade since I've done this, and it's always a pleasure to meet anyone and everyone from ALSA. I sincerely hope that you got a lot from the talk that I and Parthi did with you this morning. And I hope and wish you good luck for your future endeavors as you guys transition from academic life to professional life. If there's one thing that I would like to impart, it's really to be gentle with yourself. You don't have to have all things figured out. So a curious and a courageous mindset, curious to try and courageous to try, will really bring you far in your professional career. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. And at the end of the day, we are all learning. I am still learning. Even our partners are still learning. So take it easy. Figure out what you do well and figure out what you love. And the money will come after. Trust me, the money will come after. I have never met a lawyer who has gone hungry or is out of a job. We always make do. So make sure to enjoy the journey as well as the destination. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jel, for the closing statement. Is any else, Miss Presi, Alsa, Zinat, you can give a closing statement also?
Yes, thank you, Insan. Thank you very much for the two past residents for joining us today and the participants. And thank you very much, Insan, for organizing this, because it's a very important discussion for all our participants to know where you're heading. That's something I've always emphasized, even in my own country, where I initiated projects, internship programs, because when we start off, we don't know where we're heading, because law is interesting. It's also considered a fancy profession by around the world, but the work in itself is not really fancy. So we need to know where we're heading, and we need to invest accordingly our time and efforts and money, because law degrees are also expensive equally. And we put our parents also through a lot of pressure of exams, pressure, everything. Our parents also go through them. So to be fair on both sides, to ourselves and our parents, we need to know where we're heading and what our future lies. So I think this is a beautiful discussion, a very fruitful discussion. Very important topics were brought by both speakers. And the important question Ms. Patti brought up is, do you really want to be a lawyer? I think that's a crucial question all of us need to, ask ourselves. So I hope the participants enjoyed, and the live viewers, and also the post viewers of this discussion also. So thank you very much for our speakers and Insan and the participants for joining us today. Maybe we can wrap up this session with a group picture, Insan, if you can,
Yes,
or wish.
yes, after your given closing statement, we have the photo session also.
Yes.
Okay, Wish, you can help us to take the picture photo. Okay, I think that Wish is not there. Okay, guys, you can open your camera. We have the photo session, and I will be given the direction to give a photo session. Okay. Okay, so I think that will be take the photo.
Come
Given
on,
your best,
everyone, let's see your faces. This is the first step of being a lawyer. You need to be confident. Let's see
okay,
everyone's beautiful faces.
okay. Just waiting to look your spectacular face.
Nice. We're seeing one by one everyone switching on their videos. Thank you, guys.
Okay, maybe we can take the photo right now.
Yes, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, give your best smile, guys. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Zinat, can you help me to take the photo? Because my laptop is going to be distracted.
Hold on. How do I switch to the yeah, I need to. Is Wish not here? Okay, a second. Okay, guys. Let's smile on 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Maybe we can, hold on, I'm making me another picture with the ALSA always be one pose. Hold on, let me save this first. Yes. Yeah. Give me a minute. Yeah. On a count of 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for joining us,
Okay,
and have a great
thank
day.
you. Thank you, Gina, to help us. And yeah, we finished we finished in our agenda today. Once again, I want to say thank you for Miss Jel, Miss Party to attending and reconnected with the ALSA International also. And yeah, thank you. And so your contribution, develop your skills and connect to other ALSA. Always be one.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.